Hi everybody, this is Stephanie from Razzle Dazzle Rabbitry Yarns LLC, and today what you're looking at is a blower. And this is a pet blower that we've used for our angora rabbits. And the purpose of this video is by the end of this video, you'll be able to understand why we are not using blowers anymore for our line of rabbits. And so there's a couple different reasons why. I'll take you right through them. Before you get all that info, make sure you've subscribed, hit the bell, and you always press the thumbs up button for these videos. So this is an X-Power pet blower. It has the off, this is the low, this is the high setting. You just press the button. You'll notice there's lots of different debris and everything on it. Blowing rabbits can get a bit of dander and wool and everything off, especially Germans. Now, the hose has this attachment on the end of it, and it is optional. There's a couple different attachments. This one, it's tapered so the air comes out with a bit more force. This is electric, and the cord just is wrapped around. So let's see if you can read this here. So it's a dryer, which is a blower, plus a vacuum. This is not one that is supposed to produce heat. Some of the dryers will produce heat. This one does not. I've never used it on the vacuum setting, only the blower. This is 115 volts, which is going to be 60 hertz. And this particular blower has served incredibly well for German angora rabbits. Yet there's a few different reasons why I'm getting rid of this blower. So we're selling this blower, and in fact, we're not going to use any of the high-powered blowers anymore, because the rabbits that we have, we are transitioning to, well, we've transitioned to just the Arthur line for the rabbits, and they don't need, they don't have the thick wool that the Germans do, so it's a little less thickness, which makes it easier for caring for the coat. So with the Germans, a blower was absolutely necessary to get the dander out. With the Arthur line, because of improved housing conditions and figuring out that with natural airflow, with a little bit less wool on the rabbit, it makes the care of the rabbit a little bit easier. So not all lines of rabbits will you be able to transition out of your blower. But for us, being very selective in the housing conditions, very selective in how we care and feed the rabbits, it really has produced better wool. Also, we provide ivermectin for the mites for the wool. And this is an example of wool that came off Arthur. There's going to be a little bit more debris in it. Let's see if you can see there's a little piece of hay right here. It's not going to get that, just simply using a brush or just simply using your hands. It's not going to be as effective as a blower for getting all the debris out. However, we're trying to use less electricity. I'm trying to have a bit more of a green business, something that is developing a rabbit that produces good wool, and that isn't a line of rabbits that requires lots and lots of tools such as a blower to maintain their coats. Now, if you've taken the Razzle Dazzle shearing method course, you already know further the explanation about not using the blower and how that ties into using the Razzle Dazzle shearing method and all that. The wool itself, there will be a little bit more dander in it, but it should not be significant. With a healthy rabbit from the Arthur lines, there should not be significant, really powdery amounts of wool. And so let's go outside and check on the housing conditions of the rabbits. We haven't, they still need to be hayed, which is grass right now in the year, and they still need their water right now. So they'll be really, really anxious to get fed this morning. But let's check on the housing conditions that help so that you don't have to use a high-powered blower with this line of rabbits. So in this pen we have Arthur. What you can see is there's a little bit of the fresh grass left. Hello, Arthur. And of course, Arthur is saying hello to us. Housing is extremely important besides choosing a line of rabbit that does well, that has the proper coat type, you know, maintaining the proper rabbit to be able to not use a blower. So the housing is incredibly important because for this, if you notice in the rabbitry around this, there's a lot of open space in the wire. So this means that there is good airflow straight down the rabbitry. The air can really flow well for the rabbit. And that's quite important because when there's no airflow for your rabbit, it's very terrible for the health of your rabbit all around. The amount of ammonia due to urine, the smell in the air is just, it's not good for your rabbits to breathe. It's not good for anybody. So good airflow in your rabbitry is absolutely important. Now we're going to take a look at Arthur's wool. And Arthur he's half English and he's half German. He was bred by Raisin Buns Rabbitry, Heidi Bengelink, and she did a very good job selecting the right combination of English to the right combination of German to get this wool. And the type of wool that Arthur has it's not as thick as a German, but it's certainly easier to manage than a pure English compared to 100% German. So it's quite thick, but also he does have some guard hairs, and you're really looking at a coat that you just don't see a lot of dander because he's fed properly, he has great access to water, he has great access to hair. This is perfect housing for him. He gets a bit of the medicine for mites, because if there's mites in your rabbit, you're just going to have a lot more. He likes his chin scratched, which is what I'm doing right here. But if you have mites in the wool of your rabbit, and a rabbit that is struggling all around, it's just, there's a lot more diseases, there's a lot more things that can happen to a rabbit that's struggling. And so a healthier rabbit due to housing, healthier rabbit due to feed, due to water, due to proper care, due to proper line, proper choosing of rabbits, it all leads to the ability to not use a blower. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea of what we're working on and how we can literally take the wool off the rabbit without using a blower. One of the things to note about this is there is still going to be dander in the wool, and so that means that after what we do is we wash the yarn after spinning, and so that gets the remainder of the dander out. So that's how we work with the wool, and that's how we're able to not actually have use of a blower.